Well, we talked about Riot, and the last time you played here a couple years ago. I've heard that they're starting a new album or kind of
Riot, yeah.
reforming. Can you update us on that band?
Yeah, I mean it's been a slow process. Like some bands, it seems like everything comes together really quick. Riot there's some things going on that kind of, I guess, just things can't seem to fall in place sometimes. But for one reason or another, yeah, we are working on a new record. It's a lot of interest from overseas market in Europe and Japan for the new record, and we did a demo session here in San Antonio. We wrote 14 songs back in 2009, and so we have all that material. We just need to get in and maybe do a little more pre-production on it,
Okay.
and then track the songs. But it looks like it's happening this month finally.
Really?
So yeah, I mean I was just working on some of the material today. So
How's it
it's
sound?
yeah, I mean it's cool. I mean we did we did four. We already completed four songs, pretty much complete, and so we needed to go back in and do the rest of it. So we're just looking at getting in and getting it done.
Well, you and I talked about the 70,000 tons of metal cruise. I just
Yeah.
had the pleasure of returning from that, and there were so many bands. There were 42 bands sailing from Miami to Cozumel, and as far as I know, all the bands that were on there have had nothing but great things to say about it. I'm wondering if any one of the bands that you were ever in, whether it's Face Warning or Halford or whatever, is asked, would you personally be in favor of performing on a ship?
Oh sure. I mean I'll play wherever. I don't care.
Have you been on a cruise before?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Did
Uh,
you get seasick or anything?
No, no. Actually, I did when we went snorkeling for some reason.
Okay.
I mean, you know how those cruise ships are. They take you and they, like you're drinking, screwdrivers at, 8 in the morning, and then they take you on this crazy boat and snorkeling, and then the next thing you know, you're at the bottom of the ocean, and you get them back on a boat, and things just don't feel too great.
It took me about a day and a half to get my
Yeah.
bearings going as far as once I was back on land and back in San Antonio to get, acclimated to everything too. But and I know a lot of the bands were commenting that it was a little weird with the ship moving whenever they're stepping on the guitar monitor or something. They're
Oh,
kind of
really?
like, yeah, but it didn't affect them too much. But I mean, I had an interesting story I was going to tell you that made me think about you, even though you weren't performing on the ship. The very first night, Exodus was the first band that was about to go on, and pretty much the only glitch in the entire trip was an hour after they were supposed to go on and start the entire ship of 5 days of partying and playing live. The venue still had not opened. So you had 2,000 passengers from 48 countries starting their drinking, starting their partying, and it was just really revved up, and the doors weren't open. So things were about to get ugly. Out of nowhere, a tall, very skinny, lanky Australian guy came up and just in the middle of everybody, just out of blurts out, "Metal Soldiers!"
Are you serious?
Unbelievable. And he happened to do it right in front of my face. Of course,
Wow.
that's a Riot song, and even though Riot was not performing on the ship, I looked right back at this guy, having never met him in his life, and I was the only one to respond to him. And we're marching through the night. And
That
I
was
thought,
pretty good, actually.
and
Way up for
he
time.
looked at me, and just his eyes popped out. Needless to say, we became friends the rest of the ship, and called him Aussie Phil. So if you're out there, Aussie Phil, you know this is for you. But it made me think of
Wow.
you because we were the only ones. The guy was just blurting out of all the songs in this world. He blurted out a Riot song from 1990 that
That's a
Bobby
good
played
one,
on,
too.
and Metal Soldiers. So that made me think of you. I had to share that with you.
That's cool. That's cool. That's a good song. Yeah, so that's a good story. Yeah, I mean the Thundersteel lineup that we had back in those days, 88 to 90, really,
Yeah.
only a couple of years. That was a very fond moment in time for me because it was the first big gig that I had, and yeah, when I hear you sing that, I think about.
I tried to sing anyway.
No, that was great. I think about about all the cool stuff that we did back then.
Well, Thunder Steel and the Privilege of Power, those back-to-back albums are my favorite Riot albums, so definitely
Cool.
looking forward to the new one when it does come out.
Yep.
Talk about your, for all the drummers out there, your instructional drumming. I know you've got some groove library files that you've just put together. Tell everybody out there what that consists of and all your hard work that went into that.
Yeah, I had done some work with Platinum Samples when I did, there was the Joe Barresi pack where he had the engineer Joe Barresi dialed up all these sounds, and they basically needed somebody to hit the drums, so they called me, and I walked in to the studio, and they had multiple kits set up, and what I did was just basically the hits. Well, I started talking with Rail from Platinum Samples, and Rail was really interested in my work and wanted to do a metal MIDI grooves library with me, which is flattering to me that he wanted me to do that with my playing rather than just the hits, my personal playing. So we got together on a couple of days and put together this package of I just basically played 25 different tempos and for 2 days, and just different groups, heavy stuff, a little bit of fills and some crazy things, and double bass, and then just straight laying it down kind of stuff. And Rail cut these things into these 2-bar loops, and they're also 25 complete performances. And it's available on Platinum Samples, and you can get that. I guess it's platinumsamples.com, and you can buy this library of my playing for 40. I think it's like $40 or something. And it's
a great deal.
Yeah. And it's compatible with all the tune track format, and also with the BFD format. And it's great for guitar players if you're working with a drum machine and it's kind of stale or whatever, and same beats over and over. You can actually use these grooves rather than the drum machine kind of thing. And the cool thing is it's MIDI. So if the songs, if you hear something that you really like and it's maybe 100 beats per minute or something, and you say, hey, when I want to kick that up a little bit, just kick up the tempo, and the MIDI automatically changes to the tempo that you're writing the song in. So it's a cool package, and I'm looking forward to maybe doing another one with Rail, or maybe a progressive package, MIDI type grooves package. So, but this one is it's doing well out there, and I think it's platinumsamples.com if you want to check it out.
Cool. Awesome, there you go. Well, I've had the pleasure a couple weeks ago of interviewing Lamb of God drummer Chris Adler.
Oh, yeah.
On March 6th, he is going to host a drum clinic tour that hits 11 cities, and on March 6th it is here in San Antonio. And I'm wondering if you, obviously it seems like the phrase downtime is not in your vocabulary, but if you ever had free time, have you thought about forming a drum tour clinic of yourself on your own, of just meeting fans and instructing them and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a few in the past. I haven't done a whole lot of those, a lot of the drum clinics, and it's the same as doing a DVD. When I did my DVD a few years back, I had the time to put some songs together and to really think about what I wanted to do. But I've been pretty busy, with the bands that I've been working with, and it's just haven't really had the time to get back into the clinic thing or the DVD thing lately, but I'm sure there'll be time to do that. I still need to kind of gather my thoughts and see what I want to do. I mean, playing on different records is cool. I like what I'm doing. I like playing the straight ahead rock kind of stuff with Sebastian and the recent Fates Arch Mateo's project, which is really cool because it's so different, so progressive. So I'm pretty happy with where I'm at, working with the bands, but and doing the projects I am. But maybe if there's some time in the future, maybe I'll get to do some more clinics and maybe another DVD. But Chris is great, so I mean, I'm surprised he found the time.
Will you be in town when he's having that clinic?
Yeah, I mean, me and Chris are friends, so whenever that happens, I'm sure I'll hear about it. Maybe we'll get together, hang out a little bit.
Awesome. Well, we obviously look forward to hearing all of the new stuff, forthcoming stuff that Bobby has going on with all of his projects. So I guess we'll just wrap it up by just letting people know what is coming next. What's coming next tomorrow, next week for you? Where are you headed?
Yeah, the Riot CD is coming. The Sebastian CD is coming. I have some shows with Sebastian in May. I have shows with Fates Warning in July. I don't know. Stuff like
it's all
that.
a blur, right?
Yeah, things are crazy. I mean, there is some. Yeah, there's something else too. I'm going to. Well, forget it. Yeah, I have different projects, but I do have time in between here and there. Somehow, if I have a little block of time, somehow it seems to get filled in with something. At least that's the way it's been for the last couple of years, and I'm grateful that it's kind of turned out that way. So, but yeah, there's little holes here and there, but I'm sure something will happen. I'll stay busy.
Awesome. Well, definitely thank Bobby for taking the time for doing this. He's obviously a talented drummer, and if you don't know about a lot of his projects, go check him out. Become familiar with him. San Antonio, you should be very proud of one of your own here because he's really making the city proud and just doing a heck of a job with all these bands. So, for Bobby, thanks a lot for taking the time.
Jay,
it's always great seeing you.
Thanks much, man.
And we're signing off. Jay Nanda, San Antonio Metal Music Examiner. We'll see you next time.